I'm back here at base following week. Here with Jackson Dang, Canadian Joysticks again. And,
Hello.
He's here, and we're gonna continue from where we left off. I believe we were just starting to get into the topic of the arcade scene back then. So, 25 years ago, around or so in Vancouver.
Sure.
We had quite a few arcades, didn't we?
We have a lot of independent arcades.
Back then.
Back then, we also have like a couple of chain arcades, or franchise arcades, if you want to call it that.
Franchise arcades. Okay, so what does that mean?
Well, I call it that because they have more than one location.
Mm-hmm.
So any arcade that has like two or more, I call it a franchise.
Okay, so we used to have those.
Yes.
Not anymore.
Not quite, no.
Well, what were they called? Which ones did we have?
I can name three off the top of my head.
Okay.
We had Laser Illusion.
Mm-hmm.
We had Circuit Circus.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if it counts, but we had a Chuck E. Cheese.
Yeah, the Chuck E. Cheese.
Chuck E. Cheese. Well, we only had one location in the Lower Mainland, but they have more than one in the world.
Yes, but there was the one we had it was in Coquitlam area. Was it?
It was like near Coquitlam on the borderlines, at like the far end of Burnaby.
Right around like Lougheed, right? Was it?
It's right next to Lougheed. Yes.
Yeah, and I remember we had a Chuck E. Cheese, and then it changed its franchise name to
Yeah,
something else.
like,
Do you remember what it was?
Became Jolly Genies.
Jolly Genies, and it was like so it was an arcade, but it was also like one of those
It's a birthday Pizza Hut.
I thought it had one of those playgrounds or something. A jungle gym did not have that.
It did not. No. Well, not in the normal sense. Not in the outdoorsy park type sense.
But it had like a ball pit.
There was a ball pit, yes. But it was the typical Chuck E. Cheese where you have like all the deluxe cabs and whatnot. It was also one of the few places you actually saw the giant arcade version of Hungry Hungry Hippos.
Giant arcade version of okay. So Hungry Hungry Hippos is like that game where you mash on the button to get as many orbs as you can. Now, what is the arcade version like?
You have a giant lever, and people just hammer on that lever as much as possible.
So it takes like two hands to kind of cover it.
Yeah, and it clomps on like billiard ball size like marbles.
Oh my goodness! And these are like kids just like hammering at them.
Yeah, and you have 4 players, and you just hammer them, and whoever got the most balls got the most tickets.
Okay, yeah. So it's one of those places where you play those kind of arcadey games and
Like
get tickets.
Yeah, redemption tickets and all that kind of stuff. So on the lower floor, you had all the ticket games, so like skee ball,
Skee ball, yeah,
and all the other little things. But upstairs, you had the arcade games and a couple of pinball machines.
like deluxe arcade cabs. What does that?
No,
mean?
they're not even deluxe, just normal standard stuff. But like not quite new, but not quite old.
Okay.
So like late 80s machines. So like there's what I played there was super off-road racing, where you get the spinning flywheel.
Okay.
You can just spin that wheel for days.
And okay, so it's like a racing sim.
It is a top-down racer, like
Oh
a
my goodness.
cocktail style, and you have 3 players, so 3 people can spin their own wheels.
Oh, and it controls one buggy or something.
You control your little off-road machine.
Okay, and it's all one screen.
It's all one screen,
Okay.
one screen track, and you just go around the field, and you just like, and when you make your turns, you just let the wheel fly. and the trick is to know when to grab the wheel to stop your spin.
Oh, so there was like actually like technique to it.
Yes.
Oh man, those were the days when we had those kind of games, where you could, you actually had a unique control scheme on it, right?
It's not really unique, just that's the way it handled.
It had that aspect to it.
There was no such thing as resistive wheels, because it's just easier just to let the
Yeah,
thing fly.
and you have to remember, like, these are like potentially like young kids playing on them like constantly, right?
Well, that too.
So I can imagine again the maintenance would be, a
No.
thing.
Maintenance on that thing is actually more complicated than you think, because
That's
it
what I
is
mean.
a steering wheel.
Yeah. So you had those kind of games. You had like
There were a lot of Nintendo arcade machines there.
what do you mean by that? What is a Nintendo arcade machine?
The original Super Mario Brothers.
Okay.
So, and it's the weird trapezoidal ones where you got
Trapezoidal. That's what the machine looked like?
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So like because it's the versus type machines, the sit down versus.
Okay.
So on one side it was Mario Brothers, and the other side was maybe something else. But oftentimes, like, that machine was designed to play tennis, like the NES tennis.
NES tennis, right?
So that's how it worked. One player would play one side, the other player on the other side.
Okay, and basically it's a Super Nintendo.
No, it's the NES.
Oh, it's a Nintendo.
Yeah, the Nintendo.
Arcade versus setup.
Yeah, and they also had the original arcade Punch-Out.
At the Jolly Genius Chuck E. Cheese.
Yes.
Okay.
You know, body blow, uppercut.
Yeah. So
The
like,
giant button with the 2 screens.
oh, so it's actually like just the A and B button.
Yeah. And if you want to do a super punch, it's like a giant buzzer button.
Oh, okay. I didn't even know it had that machine. I've only seen those in YouTube videos.
Yeah, like, as a Vancouver person, we are extremely lucky to have all these arcade machines because we are a port town.
Okay.
So
yeah.
every machine that came in from Asia flowed through here.
Oh.
And that's why in Vancouver we have one of the largest concentration of arcade machines.
Could that also be why like Vancouver is a hub
Yes.
in like Canada?
Yeah.
Because of the port and the location, great weather, and access to
Yeah.
such things,
Uh,
right?
We are the Canadian access port to all of Asia, whereas Seattle is the other way around, and San Francisco is the other one.
Right. Okay. So we got a lot of the stuff from Asia through because of that reason.
Because we're a port town, and any machine that had to go to like Ontario and whatnot had to come through us.
Really?
Yeah,
And it had to go all the way across the country to get to Ontario.
yeah. Because shipping machines are heavy and expensive. You don't
Yeah,
fly
yeah.
a machine from like Japan all the way to Toronto. You ship
You
it by
ship with a
boat to Vancouver, and you freight it on train over.
On train. Okay. Back when trains are. I guess we still have a train now.
Trains is still faster than vehicles.
Yeah, of course, because they all run on their own railroad, right?
Yeah.
But anyways, back to the point of Jolly Genie Chuck E. Cheese.
Yeah.
So that was one of the arcades that we did have. Like on the upper floor, it had like all the I guess the usual arcade games.
Yeah, and like late '80s to modern day stuff. Let's go Gauntlet to.
Oh, Gauntlet.
There's also one of the weird machines that, because we had a lot of Nintendo arcade machines. We also had the first generation Super Nintendo arcade machine.
First generation Super Nintendo. So is that the machine that basically you controlled using like these deluxe or huge versions of the controllers?
Yes,
That was
that machine.
Okay.
And you don't play by credit because these are actual Super NES ROMs. You
Okay.
play by time.
Oh,
So every quarter you put in gives you 5 minutes.
every quarter.
Yes.
So $1 would give you 20.
Yes.
That sounds kind of expensive.
A little, but like we're at Jolly Genie's, Chuck E. Cheese. Kids get
true.
a lot of tokens. Parents give like kids like $20 worth of tokens and like go nuts.
Yeah, so if you do the math, that's quite a bit of time. But
Yeah, and so often and whatnot, that machine often has way too much credit in it. So like it's time unlocked, and it might as well be a free demo station.
what? Really?
Yeah,
Like people just
peop-
dump their coins.
people did not know how the machine worked because everyone knows you put in one coin in, you get one credit, right?
Yeah, until you die or
Until
whatever.
you die or whatever. But because this is a time locked machine,
It's
put in a coin, you get 5 minutes, regardless of how well or bad you play.
so it's kind of like Palladium in a sense, right?
In a way, yes. But because no one really knew it or just didn't care, people kept loading credits into the machine, and then like just time never stopped on it.
Oh, so you just keep playing.
Yeah, so like often than not, like the machine had a couple of games in it. It had Super Mario World, had Super Tennis, but what everyone played was Addams Family.
Oh,
That
of all games.
That weird dwarf-like Gomez Addams Addams Family game.
Okay. Why was that though?
That was because that was the era of the new Addams Family movie,
Oh,
where we had
okay.
Raul Julia.
Yeah, as the like original Gomez Adams.
Not the original,
Not the
but
original,
as
that one.
As that one.
Right. Who went on to become M. Bison.
Yes.
Sorry for another time, but okay. So Addams Family was the game that was played. Was that also available on Super NES at the time?
Yeah, because it was the first generation, or at least of the introduction of the Super NES Nintendo at the time.
Okay.
It was when I saw it there.
Right.
So
Oh, okay.
so it was demonstrating what the Super NES can do, and you played there, and then you can buy the games at home.
Yeah, without like having to actually purchase it. It's kind of like, or if you just didn't have a Super Nintendo, you could also play the games there.
Yeah, but Nintendo was very good at bringing their Super NES out on tour.
Okay.
Every year, Nintendo has a booth at PNE, at our summer amusement park.
Yes.
At some PNE Playland, and every year they bring out like Super Nintendo or game N64, GameCube, whatever the new console it was. They brought a thing there to demonstrate for the entire summer.
Oh, okay, and you could just go there and play it.
You just go there and play it.
So was it in the same space as the Playland arcade, or
No, that was a separate. It was in a separate spot. Often it was like in the middle of where the lumberjacks were, or somewhere off to the side of that.
Mm-hmm.
There was one year where it was actually right next to the arcade.
Okay.
But yeah, like when growing up, I went to the Playland amusement park every year in the summer as a kid growing up.
Yeah,
that's what you do.
It's what you do, yeah, around here, around Vancouver. But
Yeah, so I was there for practically every generation when Nintendo was there.
oh, okay.
So I got pretty familiar with what they did and what they played.
Mm-hmm.
I have a huge regret with one of those memories.
Okay.
I'm gonna tell this story.
Yeah, sure.
A
huge regret. What
yes,
could
it
that
is a
possibly
huge
be?
regret, and this was the year when the Super Scope came out.
Oh, the Super Scope for a Super Nintendo.
Yes.
Okay.
This is when for those who don't know, the Super Scope is that bazooka-like thing that you shoot with one eye at the screen.
Light gun peripheral.
The light gun peripheral for the Super Nintendo. You would see it in the Super Mario Brothers movie.
Yes, that was a thing.
That was a thing. I still have it. I still have mine.
You actually have the Super Scope around here.
Not here. It's
Okay.
in my room. It's in my
Right.
closet, but it's still there.
Okay.
One day I'll bring it out.
Okay.
Anyways, so I knew of the Super Scope, and I really wanted to play because this is the time I also had a Nintendo Power subscription, so I
Okay.
was kind of up abreast of this sort of thing. So I begged my mom, please let me line up to try out the Super Scope. And I didn't own a Super Nintendo at the time. This is still new tech.
Mm-hmm, yeah. This is like next gen at the time.
Yeah. So there I was waiting in line with a whole bunch of people way taller than me, waiting for a chance to line up to this back of this trailer truck.
Oh, is that what it was in?
Yeah, because they wanted to put it in a big screen, right?
Oh.
So, and you also want distance.
Ah, right, to be able to test it. Okay.
Yeah, so
to play your game. Yeah.
So everyone was lining up to get to this booth, and I was lining up there, just waiting my turn. Unbeknownst to me, like my mom just suddenly started tugging on me.
Okay.
Like it's like, please, like we gotta go, hurry up, gotta go. It's like, but mom, I want to play this.
The Super Scope.
Super Scope. It's like, well, as a kid, like I just really wanted to do this.
Yeah, of course.
So I kind of got all pouty and wanted to play this. My mom sort of relented and finally let me play it.
Okay.
It was a very quick session. It was the game I played was the shooting the whack-a-mole thingies that can pop up and whatever on the Super Scope 6.
I don't even know.
For the people who know, they know what I'm talking about.
Right.
Anyways,
Hopefully.
the regret was not listening to my mom. I love my mom. But,
yeah, of course.
But
What?
so what I didn't know was that my mom registered me into a contest, this raffle draw.
Uh-huh.
And they called out my name, but I didn't know because I was surrounded by really loud stuff.
Oh, no. Okay, and what was the raffle for?
So, not quite there yet.
Okay.
So, my mom is anxiously waiting for the turn line to finish so that I can get my turn at the Super Scope.
Right.
By the time I was done, she immediately grabbed me and pulled me towards the counter. I didn't know what was going on because I was still like in the afterglow of using the Super Scope. And then by the time we reached the counter, my mom says like, "He's here. Can you claim the prize?" And I was asking my mom, "What's going on?" And then the guy at the booth says, "Oh, I'm sorry, we already called up the other person and they already claimed it."
Oh, no.
You know what the prize is?
What was the prize?
A new Super Nintendo.
Oh, no.
So at that point, my afterglow went into a daze, and I completely didn't know what to do now. I am this little kid who did not know how to deal with this new emotion.
Yeah, I can imagine that being like, it's like confounding. It's like, what is this?
What just happened? I just enjoyed this new thing that you... How often do you ever get the chance to do this?
You're right, especially back then.
Yes. Only to find out that you could have won a Super Nintendo.
Which was like, again, like that generation's like new hot item.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's
that...
like, how does a kid feel dejected? Like, don't
Yeah.
even know the word for it at that time. Well,
Yeah, like... This was like a mind-bendingly new experience as a kid. It was like, what do I do now?
Yeah. Oh man, I couldn't imagine this. Like,
I think what I remember doing next was just wandering aimlessly, holding my mom's hand, and just like staring blindly at the flashy lights. And that was the rest of the night.
oh,
It's like I was emotionally drained out of everything.
yeah, it's just like you go up, and then you go all the way down.
Yeah.
It's like it's kind of funny how like you just vividly remember that moment, right?
Well, you may remember all of your traumas.
Exactly, right. And this just happens to be, one of those. Okay.
Yeah, I love my parents. I thank them for that kind of experience. I also blame them for putting me in this path because they're the ones that introduced me to video games.
Oh, well, I mean, couldn't have been all wrong. I mean, we're here now. So
Yes.
That's good. Okay, so trailing off, yeah, so we had those setups in Chuck E. Cheese, Jolly Genie, was it?
Yeah.
Okay, so that was like an arcade. But was there ever like I guess if you were a kid at the time, it'd be kind of hard to know if like there were older people or if there was like a community or like some kind of group that hung out there.
As a kid at the time, all I know was that was the place where you had birthday parties.
Yeah, exactly.
And that was the main group of people who ever went there.
Right. There was no such thing as like our arcade rats. Well, I don't know. Maybe there was.
Arcade rest is what you make of it, right? I mean,
True.
like for me, whenever I go to a mall or whatnot, I always visit the arcade because that's what I do.
Yeah. I mean, when malls had arcades.
Malls still have arcades.
Well,
Our malls, anyway.
Yeah. I mean, in this city, I don't know about anywhere else. But,
Yeah, like when I ever hear people talk about arcades and whatnot from other places, they always talk it as if it was a distant memory or they don't exist anymore. I was like, wait, is that right? Arcades don't exist where you live?
talk to a kid who's like 5 now, and they'd be like, "What's that word mean?" And be like, "Yep, that's what I thought." Yeah, it's So we had what was the other franchise arcades that we had?
So we also had Laser Illusions and Circuit Circus.
Right.
Those were the two leading parties, I would say.
So they weren't
competing for space.
They're competing. Yeah, they're competitors
Yeah.
at the time. Okay. And where were they located? Like, how many did we have? Did we have a lot of them, or
We had at least 3 of each.
3 of each? Okay.
At least that I know of.
And were they in like the biggest hubs in the city, or
They were spread out all over the Lower Mainland. So, Laser Illusion had one in Brentwood Mall,
Okay, in Burnaby.
one in Metrotown,
Again, also Burnaby.
and one in Richmond Center.
Okay, in Richmond. Oh, really? I didn't
Yes.
even know that. Okay.
Richmond actually has a lot of arcades.
It's like the last arcade city.
No, we're still spread out.
Yeah, we are. Okay. And then Circuit Circus?
Circuit Circus had a place near Brentwood Mall.
Oh, really?
It's in that complex that's next to where Staple is. So if you go down a little bit further, when you go past Save On Foods,
Oh, right.
they had this little
Plaza?
plaza for themselves.
I didn't even know that was around back then, that little plaza.
It's I think it's a dance studio now.
Is it? Okay. Look how far we've come. Just kidding.
So they had one there.
Mm-hmm.
They also had one at Metrotown. Metrotown had a lot of arcades for one location.
I mean, look at Metrotown now. It's like the hub of shopping centers in Burnaby.
It is our largest shopping center here in the Lower Mainland.
There you go.
But
So they had like multiple arcades in there.
yeah, at its peak, there was at least 4 locations in there that had arcade machines.
Ooh, really?
Yes.
Which ones?
So we had Laser Illusion.
Was
No. Sorry, my bad. Laser Illusion was not in Metrotown. My mistake.
Okay.
There was a Circuit Circus.
Uh-huh.
And then there was Johnny Z's.
Oh, Johnny Z's. Okay.
I usually get... No, Johnny Z's is his own thing. But Laser Illusion was not at Metrotown. Where was it?
Coquitlam?
No, Coquitlam had CHQ.
Ah.
Ironically, CHQ is where Metrotown is now.
Yeah, it is.
So Laser Illusion only had 2 locations. My bad.
Okay.
There may be a third one. I don't remember where it is.
So-
But it was key in Brentwood Mall and Richmond Center.
And that was the main competing locations?
Yeah, and Circuit Circus had... yeah, they had that location near Brentwood, and they had one in Metrotown.
So what was that one that was in the Station Square area?
That was Johnny Z's.
Johnny Z's, okay.
Okay.
So Laser Illusion and Circus Circus were like the main competitors, franchises.
Yeah. So Laser Illusion also did the party thing.
The Chuck E. Cheese party thing?
Sort of, yeah. So they had like a small area where they had sort of like a giant bar top type of thing, but it had cheap arcade sticks and whatnot, but they're all hooked up to Sega Genesis wall.
Okay, which are actual Sega Genesis.
Sega Genesis.
Okay.
So each station had a number and their own monitor.
Uh-huh.
And if you wanted to play a game in their library, you go tell the guy behind the counter where all the prizes were. Like, hey, can you change like machine number 12 to like Sonic 3?
Okay.
Kind of thing. And they just like grab it from the wall, pop it in, and you're good to go.
And you paid for time there too, or?
Yeah, you can. Though not many people do because it's mostly designated for parties.
Okay.
But what Laser Illusion did was that they also had ticket redemption games.
Oh, they did, like Skee-Ball and
all that kind of
yeah.
stuff. But like, you can trade in those tickets for half an hour of time on those machines.
Oh, game time.
Of game time.
Oh, that's clever.
Yeah, and it was relatively cheap too. It was like 50 tickets for it.
Which I don't know what the payout for those redemption games were.
Like you can get like maybe 10 tickets out of a Skee-Ball machine.
If you get perfect score, did
you
this
get
matter?
If you get a fairly decent score out of Skee-Ball, you can get 10 tickets out of it.
Such a clever way.
And Skee-Ball is like what, a quarter, 50 cents at best. So it's not a lot of money.
Yeah, I mean, it's like you're paying for entertainment.
As a kid, maybe it's a lot of money, but like,
yeah, I mean, when you're considering like the value of it nowadays.
But like I've got a bunch of those little ticket timer thingies, but I never once used it.
Ticket? Oh, you mean like the redemption for the time?
Yeah, like I always claim it because there's nothing better I wanted to get.
So like no like stupid sticky toy.
Yeah, because I always end up throwing it away or losing it or get whatever.
Yeah,
so I get those things so I get that thing. So I was like, yeah, I'm banking time for another machine, but I never had. Well, one, I never had enough time to stay there to play it for long enough, and two, like I never even bothered.
There you go. And that was Laser Illusion.
That was Laser Illusion, but Laser Illusion was like had a lot of modern machines.
Oh, they did.
Yeah,
they kept up to date.
Yeah, so it was one of the early places where you can play a lot of fighting games.
Oh, such as like ST?
Not even ST. This is where I saw a lot of Street Fighter 2. It was also my first introduction to Mortal Kombat.
Oh, Mortal Kombat was huge.
Yeah, and there was a huge crowd around it. But there was like a small section of just pure fighting games.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
So like Virtua Fighter, I think.
Virtua Fighter was a little later than my time at Laser Illusion.
Oh, okay.
They had Pit Fighter.
I didn't even recall that game.
It's kind of like early brawler, like
Okay.
a brawler cross between a fighter.
Okay. Pit Fighter. What else was back? I don't even remember what kind of games. KOF?
This is too early for KOF.
Fatal Fury.
Fatal Fury was there, yes.
Okay, so they have SNK machines.
Yes.
Oh, okay. And this was so at Laser Illusion they had relatively up to date.
Yeah.
So what about Circuit Circus though?
They had the same level of machines over there as well, but they didn't focus on parties. It was just there as an entertainment center.
It was just like mainly like arcade setups.
Yeah.
But like they also had like all kinds of arcade games. Oh, we have a guest here. He's just paying his dues. Okay, thanks a lot. Okay, anyways, continue on. So okay, that was Circuit Circus.
Yes.
Okay, Johnny Z's. That was the one that was located across a theater. Two theaters actually at the time.
Yeah, at the time. Johnny Z's was servicing the people who were waiting for their time at the cinema.
Right, yeah.
So there's usually a lot of dates and groups of people there.
I just remember like a smog of smoke in there.
No, it's more like outside whatever the doors to those giant stairwell.
You're right. Back when smoking indoors was still a thing.
Yeah. Anyways, that was the place where if you wanted to play 8-player Daytona.
Oh, okay.
8 machines of Daytona side by side, all racing together. That was the place to do it.
Daytona, man.
That was that. A lot of Neo Geo cabinets.
Okay.
A couple of like retro stuff, but that was the place to do fighting in tournaments. It was the early scene
this was the place.
This was the early scene that I was able to participate in for fighting game stuff.
Okay, so like what fighting games did they have there?
They had Super Turbo, all the KOFs, Third Strike.
Oh, there's Third Strike at the time.
Yes, Capcom vs SNK 2.
Oh, SNK 2. That was like 90. No,
that was late 90s at the time.
Really? Johnny Z's was around that long?
Yeah, until It was there until like they had to shut down because of uh, tournament business.
Oh. Oh.
And-
Okay.
And it was also it was around the time they shut down around the time when Metropolis was rebuilt.
Oh, and when it was rebranded or whatever.
When they built that new section in Metrotown
Metropolis.
for Metropolis.
Yeah.
And that new theater stole all the patrons from the old theater.
Yeah, the Cineplex Odeon and the
Yeah.
Famous Players.
Yeah.
Famous Players. I haven't. Is that still around?
No, those two merged and
Became
got
Cineplex.
and rebranded as Cineplex.
That was a lot. So that was the place for tournaments, like or kind of tournament scene.
At that time of period, yes. Before then, it was over at Lester's.
Lester's, the place on Kingsway.
Yes, where if we go by today's time, it is where the Mist is now. The Mist restaurant.
Yes, it is on location. I can't remember that.
It's actually near Secret Base.
Yeah, it's actually like you could walk there if it was still around. You could go to the Mist, but you can't go back in time to Lester's.
Yeah, but Lester's was the place to play Super Turbo. If you want to compete in Super Turbo, that was the place.
They had tournaments there.
Yeah.
That was the main place to
Yeah.
gather.
Yeah, and this was the era of the giant CRT projector screens. So like the giant 40
Giant CRTs.
Yeah, and,
Oh.
you play at these little donkeys. But that's where you played it, and that's where everyone can watch.
Oh, okay. Because I've never been in there because my parents always said, no, it's just like full of smoke in there.
Well, that's also true.
Oh.
And it's also because like Lester was not the best place for kids. It was
Right.
Lester, even though it was labeled as family fun center.
Yes.
But it was a place where a lot of gangs hanged out.
Ah, really?
Yeah, and there were a lot of rumors because it's a Super Turbo competition area.
Uh-huh.
And you know how people get competitive and they're like,
Yeah.
you beat me up, I'll beat you up kind of thing.
Like, literally, I'd, like, take you outside.
Like, I'll take you outside kind of thing. That's how fierce that competition was. And that's why not a lot of people go there.
Oh, so it had that reputation.
Yeah.
See, I didn't know that, but did you... So you stepped foot in there.
In my early days of high school, yes.
Okay.
Or when my uncle brought me over, because whatever.
Yeah, it's there.
Uh,
How was the scene back then, though? Was it actually just, like... I don't say the word thuggery, but thuggery?
as a kid, you don't see much of it because you're not part of the big kid group.
Yeah, you're not part of the actual competitors or whatever.
But, like, there were rumors of thuggery around.
Okay, so, like, yeah. Were they playing, like, actually, like, playing the game? Or
Yeah.
were they just... Okay, so they were, like...
They're playing, and they're playing well.
And they're using tech and stuff and whatever.
As far as I can tell, yeah.
Yeah, I mean...
As a kid, I was not aware of the fighting game tech.
The meta, if you will.
Yeah. But there was enough hype around the machines that people were actually, like, cheering and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
But I didn't quite understand. I just went off to play my own light gun games.
Light gun games. Yeah, so I guess it's an arcade, right? So
Yeah.
they had light gun games, they had driving sims.
Yeah,
fighting
everything you can
games,
think of.
Ticket redemption?
Not so much ticket redemption. It was just there as a pool hall and arcade mission center.
So they had billiards in there
Yeah.
too. Okay. So Lester's, it was independent.
Yes.
Right. And from just living this, I know that place has changed hands many times. That
That location, yeah.
yeah, for Lester's. Yeah, so it's Mist now. Go to Mist. It's great stuff. Okay, so we had these franchise arcades, and then we also had all these independent arcades as well.
Yes.
So we talked about CHQ. That was Equilum.
Yes. Well, it's an independent, but they modeled after Laser Illusion.
Okay, so
That's why I got confused.
So if just like going from my memory, Laser Illusion was the arcade that was. The location was like across the TNT supermarket. Was it like in that little vicinity? It was that location, that floor.
Laser Illusion, in Brentwood Mall, is where Starbucks is now.
Okay.
So is this right outside where the bank is?
Okay. Because I remember there was an arcade there, and then became
Yeah.
CHQ, and then CHQ moved.
That was Circuit Circus.
That
in
was
Metrotown.
Oh, okay, that was Circus Circus.
Circuit Circus was there, and when Circuit Circus went out of business, CHQ took over their spot. So they downsized from their Coquitlam location.
Okay, so they only had one location at this point.
Yeah, look, CHQ only had one location and always one location, but they kept moving.
Oh, okay.
The CHQ over at Coquitlam Center was huge. It was
Okay.
a really big space.
Right.
I remember this because they had this one machine that you would think it was pulled out of an amusement park, like out of
Oh,
P&E.
really?
Whereas where like you have this whole bunch of ball pit balls,
Okay.
and you see a trash can in the back,
Okay.
and when you put your coin in, an alley cat pops up and just meows at you.
What the?
It pops its head out of the trash can, and the goal is just to throw as many of those ball pit balls into the can.
Oh my goodness.
It was so much fun.
It's literally an amusement park game.
Yes.
Oh, wow.
That's why I thought it was pulled out of the market. But that machine was so much fun. You didn't get a lot of tickets out of it, but it's just fun just to throw those balls at the cat.
And how, like, you had a limited amount of
You have
right?
time.
Oh, so, like, the balls refill or something? Or?
Well, when you throw the balls into the can, they just roll back down.
Oh, so it had, like, an incline or something.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, wow.
So instead of, like, shooting a basketball or whatnot, you just throw a bunch of balls into it.
Yeah, trying to get into the trash can.
Yeah, and
Okay.
the more points you get, the more tickets you get.
Oh, that's hilarious.
Yeah, it's fun. It's just a fun, silly thing.
Yeah, no, that's amazing. I wish we, we had that around, but...
Yeah, I don't know what happened to that mechanism or whatever. It probably went to the trash, which is kind of sad.
Oh, man. Yeah, so that was at the Coquitlam location.
That was Coquitlam location, but look, the Coquitlam location had a lot of large machines too.
Such as, like...
They had Alien 3 the gun. Full size.
It's called Alien 3 the Gun?
Yes.
Okay.
This around the time when Alien 3 came out, and it was a mounted light gun game.
Okay,
so
yeah, well, it's fixed.
It's a fixed light gun game, so you just pull the gun around and you have a cursor on the screen.
Yeah.
But this is when you get to control a pulse rifle. Or
Okay. Whatever they use
or whatever the large gun they have. It's like a miniaturized smart gun. Maybe. It's in between the two. It's not quite a pulse rifle, not quite a smart gun, but it's a really big gun.
Right, okay.
Yeah, so... And this is... they were using, like, very crude sprite recreations of the live-action stuff.
Okay. Like from Alien 3?
Well, it's called Alien 3, but it has no relation to any plot line relevance to the movies.
I mean, it's just like you just put a light gun shooter in an arcade.
Yeah, because you start off in the Sulaco or whatever the ship is, and you crash land into Alien 2 territory.
Oh,
which
okay.
is weird.
But yeah,
it doesn't matter. You're just shooting aliens.
And that was it was a large setup.
Yeah, it was a
cabinet.
Yeah, you get two players and you have really big guns and you start shooting that stuff.
Okay,
it's really fun.
So Coquitlam could facilitate those huge,
those huge
bigger...
machines, lots of pinballs. They had the large sit-down cabinets where you play flight sims.
Okay, we're going.
They had Laserdisc games.
Laserdisc games.
People would know this. They recently there was a renaissance of these kind of things, but they had Mad Dog McCree, Fast Time Showdown or something like that.
Okay,
it's like you had a gun holstered and you quick draw showdown. It's like
this is a Laserdisc game.
This is a Laserdisc game.
Huh.
And the doors were a saloon door, so like
okay.
So when
I think I can
when you put your coin in, the saloon doors were open, and you see the like the movie of the guys like get ready to draw, and then
and you shoot him,
and then when you say draw, you pull the gun out of the holster and you shoot him.
Right, and either you get hit or he hits you. Right,
that's like the modern take of Hogan's Alley or whatever it is.
Oh, okay. So moving on, that was in Coquitlam location.
That was in Coquitlam. That's also one of the few locations where you actually play Vampire Savior.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I never touched it because I wasn't good at it. But yeah,
it's a hard game even by today's standards.
Yeah, so you're playing that on a hap stick on a converted Super Turbo cabinet. It's really awkward to play.
Oh yeah. Oh my god. I can imagine. So then they moved from Coquitlam to the Metrotown location.
Yeah, and it took over the Circus location.
Right, and then they moved again to where it currently is.
To where it currently is now, yes, and that. The place that was there before was a magic shop.
A magic? You mean like the card?
No, like as in actual illusion magic.
Oh, like for actual like magic.
Like
tricks.
Magic tricks, tools of the trade and whatnot.
Oh, really? That's a pretty large space.
Yeah,
relatively speaking.
But before CHQ moved in, they had a small section in the back, and they had all the Konami B-Money games.
Oh, did they?
So this is the era.
Oh, okay.
This is the era of DDR, Beatmania, Drum Mania, Guitar Freaks,
2000s.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's talk a little bit about how we transitioned there. So we had Laser Illusion, Circus, Johnny Z's, Lester's, And probably a whole bunch of other independent.
There's way more independent locations than you can ever think of.
Yeah, I just never traveled to them because
I can list a few examples.
Yeah, sure.
The Hastings Racetrack.
That was an arcade.
There is an arcade in there,
Okay.
full of retro games.
Oh wow, amazing.
Yes. My dad likes to go to the track, and I just tag along.
Okay.
And while my dad is racing on the track, I just hang out at the arcade.
Okay, so they have an arcade in there.
Yeah, so for me, I just hang in there all day. My dad gives me like 10, 20 bucks worth of quarters and just like have fun.
Yeah. Okay.
So in there they had like all the early 80s arcade machines. So things like what was it? That Namco rally game, F1, whatever.
Okay. It was a rally car.
It was an F1 game. Now I had it in my head and then I completely forgot it. But anyways, they had the Star Wars third-person angle shooter.
I don't even know that one.
It was after the Atari one where they had the all the lines and whatnot, but before the one where it had the lightsaber controls.
Oh, okay. An 80s arcade game, though.
Yeah, 80s arcade.
Right.
They had actual Tapper, not root beer Tapper, actual Tapper.
Oh, the actual original one.
Yeah, so
Wow.
you had the
actual like
the beer tab thingy you pull down to serve drinks.
Yeah. Wow. What? Really?
They had that machine.
Oh my goodness. Wow.
Speaking of aliens, they had the original Aliens, the arcade game.
Okay.
I've
I've only read about that game, so.
They had a couple pinball machines in there as well. They also, where I got introduced to one of my favorite arcade pinball machines, Funhouse.
Oh yeah,
The
that's
one-
classic.
Yeah, the one that with the little puppet head in the back there, where you can shoot the pinball into its face.
Oh, okay. And that's the one where, like, it was like a clown, right? Like the clown.
No, it was Rudy, and he kind of looked like Chucky from the movie.
Oh yeah, that must have been what it was. Yeah. I remember Funhouse being like in a lot of locations.
Yeah. So that's where I learned how to play that, and that was a lot of fun. But they had a couple of new machines in there. That's also where I learned to play Virtua Fighter.
Oh, okay. Because they had it there.
They had it there.
Like the original Virtua Fighter.
Yes, original Virtua Fighter 1.
Okay.
And a couple of other machines they rotate in and out from. And because that location shared machines with the retro arcade that's over in the main amusement park, the Playland area.
Okay. Oh,
So
it is.
Hastings and over there, even though they're kind of remote from each other.
Yeah, they are.
They do rotate machines between each other.
Oh, that's how that works. Okay. And so, what was it? That was a Hastings
Racetrack.
racetrack. Okay.
I haven't been there in a very long time, and I don't think they have an arcade set up there anymore.
I
kind of
who
doubt
knows?
it.
Yeah. What else? What other places were there?
Well, speaking of which, the retro arcade at Playland,
Oh.
our amusement park, for a good number of years, they had all the old arcade machines like Konami's Track and Field,
Okay.
the
Konami's Track and Field.
one that where you mash buttons a lot.
Yeah.
Karate Champ,
Oh,
Kung
Karate Champ.
Fu. I'm blanking out a whole bunch, but there's
There were a ton.
they also had a large wall of pinball machines,
Uh-huh.
including like Bugs Bunny 30th birthday or whatever the anniversary year at that time.
Yeah.
Guys, I remember because I kept hearing the Roadrunners like
Meep, meep.
whatever thing that it echoes throughout the entire room.
Oh, okay, yeah. I can imagine that being obnoxious, but eventually just, getting used to it.
Yeah, but it was like it was an interesting machine because it was there. Very late into its year, they had the Street Fighter pinball machine.
So I didn't even know Street Fighter had a pinball machine.
It was weird. Because you had to time your skill shot was Chun-Li throwing her bracelet at a dartboard.
Okay.
Made no sense.
Yeah, that's okay.
It was an interpretation. It is not really a thing that Capcom made.
Oh, okay, I see.
Like one of the new hotness of pinballs at the time was having a mini pinball machine inside.
Yeah, I remember seeing those.
Yeah, so for Street Fighter, what it was is like if you shoot into a skill shot area, you get into a smaller playfield where you shoot a ball into a car to simulate the bonus game.
Oh, that's pretty cool. Okay, so I had that kind of cool
Yeah.
gimmick.
Yeah, so I think the goal was to like kill all the fighters to get to M. Bison, and it had the same mechanics as it was for Super Mario World.
The pinball game.
No, Super Mario Brothers pinball game.
Okay.
Super Mario World is the kiddie version.
Ah, okay. Like the smaller pinball.
It's the smaller one that had no side drains.
Okay.
Only the big center
Oh,
drain.
really? Oh, okay, interesting. So like we had all those like independent along with all these chains. So like
There
here we are now.
Yeah, there's still more.
Okay.
But I can keep going if you want to go into the history of stuff.
Okay, let's kind of move on to how we are like
But
now. Like
As we are now, we lost a good
pretty
number
much
of them.
everything.
Yeah.
So
'Cause-
what do we have now? Like from just off the top of your head, what stayed or what remained?
E-Spot remains.
Eastbound Richmond
CHQ as it is now remains.
in Burnaby. Yeah.
Movie Land remains
Movie Land in downtown.
in downtown.
Right.
Movie Land has now become the standard, become the place for Super Turbo now.
Wow. And Marvel or
And if you can play Marvel too, yeah.
oh, okay.
Because that place is a heritage site for some reason.
Yeah, so that probably has some kind of privilege, maybe.
Yeah. For people who are too lazy to look it up, the reason why it is a heritage site is because they own one of the earliest known coin-operated porn machines.
Yeah, okay, and that's why you can't really tear it down because of that.
Yeah, and it's also the reason why no kids can go in.
Oh,
18 and up only.
Okay. And I remember you told me the other day, like there's still like Friday gatherings for not for the peep show, but for the gaming for the Super Turbo or
For Super Turbo, yes.
There's still like a regular.
There's
meetup.
still regular meetups for Super Turbo over there. But there's also...
To this day.
And there's also the place to play pinballs that's well maintained.
Okay, now so that's the thing I wanted to kind of talk about a little bit. Pinballs. I haven't seen a pinball machine in person in like many years.
Mm-hmm.
Like I don't even remember. Like they used to be everywhere.
Yeah, because we're a port town.
Yeah, exactly. Like the last one I saw was like in Final Fantasy 15.
I even call that a pinball machine. That is just a rubber band shooter.
There you go. Exactly, right? And that was even in real life. So,
But yeah,
what happened to all those pinball machines then?
it is now a rich man collector's machine.
Is that what it's become?
It's what it's become. It's become a corporate rich man
Like-
device that people collect because it's really hard to maintain.
People collect pinball machines.
Yes.
That's insane.
It's because it's super expensive,
Mm-hmm.
hard to move, and just expensive overall.
Yeah, like the maintenance, like you said, because like you have all the little like
You have
things
all the
going on.
Because you have all the electrical, mechanical stuff, you have all the wiring and electronics. It's a mess.
Ah, okay.
And plus, many of the modern pinball machines have little gimmicks and gadgets that are unique to that machine itself. No other machine can have it, and to get replacements for it, you have to harvest it from another machine.
Okay, yeah, because like I imagine all the parts are like they're just like
They're just because the people who made them no longer exists.
There you go, right?
There's only 2 North American pinball manufacturers that are still alive.
Really, alive.
Yes, that are still making money.
Well,
One,
they're like physically alive, like as in like not like like deceased, but okay, yeah.
one is Stern.
Mm-hmm.
Stern makes a lot of like the new modern licensed pinball games, so like the new X-Men machines, I think they did Red Hot Chili Peppers. They did the Transformers,
Oh,
the new Transformer movies. And the other one is Jersey Jack.
okay.
The interesting thing about Jersey Jack is that this is another story tangent.
It's okay.
Fair warning to the people who are listening.
We got time.
The first year I went to E3 as Canadian Joysticks,
E3S Canadian Joysticks. Okay.
I was wandering around the halls because this is shortly after the time. Well, actually, maybe not shortly, but way after the Kenshia Hall has disappeared. The Legend of Kenshia Hall.
What is that?
Okay, Kenshia Hall is the place of lost children of video game publishers.
Oh,
It's where
okay.
people bring their wares to hope to sell to North America.
Oh my goodness.
This is the place where Guitar Hero was discovered.
Oh, really? Interesting.
See, now, Guitar Hero is another interesting story, but I'll maybe leave that for another day.
We need another whole segment.
But as a quick summary, Guitar Hero originally came as a third-party manufacturer for the Guitar Freak's home peripheral for Konami.
Because In Japan,
Yes.
Guitar Freaks was an arcade.
Yeah. So Red Octane, who made those controllers, I'm just going to go into it.
Yeah, sure.
Red Octane, who made those controllers,
Uh-huh.
wanted to not just be a third-party maker of controllers
Uh-huh.
that only worked with Guitar Freaks that he can only buy from Japan.
Mm-hmm.
So they decided to bring it over here,
Uh-huh.
and they made their own game.
Freaks.
Guitar Freaks.
Oh.
And that's where it got discovered.
Really? At E3 in the Kenshia Hall.
Yes.
Which is where all these... Yeah, okay, it's like kind of like... I can't even describe that, but... Okay, so...
Yeah, the Legend of Kenshia Hall.
The Legend of Kenshia Hall. Okay, so you were at E3 as Canadian Joysticks for the first time.
Yeah, so...
As an entrepreneur.
Yeah, so I'm just going there, looking around, seeing what I can get for business. It's also so when I was there, I discovered a lot of things.
Okay.
One of them that Hori has a booth there every year showing their wares.
Right.
But no one ever reports on them because big Nintendo, big 3, whatever.
Oh my goodness.
So
Always important.
So when I was there as visiting Hori,
Uh-huh.
that's when I discovered they had the mini sticks.
Oh, what do you mean the mini sticks?
The fighting stick minis for the PS3 and,
Oh, right.
Xbox.
The ones that weren't for the full like TE.
Yeah, like the mini sticks that people were kind of all over it when they first saw it. I first saw it when I was over at E3. No one reported on it.
Really?
Yeah.
Because it got started getting really popular. Those like mini sticks.
Yeah, so that was a thing. But
Mhm.
but Hori was mainly there because they were bringing things that they already made from Japan over to here.
Okay.
So maybe someone already did, but no one cared.
Right. Yeah. There wasn't a audience for it.
Yeah. It's also the first time I saw Cronus when they first brought their things into market.
Cronus, the converter.
Yeah, the converter that people love to hate.
Why is that? It's so.
It was the most valuable converter at the time because it was the first external converter that everyone can use.
Okay.
But it had a really notorious reputation that the fighting game community sort of brought down and unsubstantiated. That the Cronus messed up the USB ports.
Oh, did it actually?
No one proved it.
So it's one of those things.
Yeah. So instead of everyone making an effort to prove that the Cronus did anything, all the TOs just outright banned it.
Okay, just to make it. Yeah, so just a quick recap. So, when you wanted to buy an arcade stick for a console, it had to be for either PS3 specifically or for Xbox or whatever.
If you want to get the official stuff.
Right. And
The
then-
official licensed stuff.
Yeah, because they couldn't just make one that worked for everything.
Because Sony and Microsoft would hate that.
Yeah, so the Cronus was a way to help players who had one stick play on the other console.
Yeah. And this was the era of the PS3 and 360 having their own fighting game wars.
Did they?
Everyone played on the 360 because that was the one that had the least input lag.
Oh, okay. So for like Marvel, Street Fighter, that's all they had. Huh? Just kidding. But not really.
The PS3 had all the anime fighters.
It did, yeah. It had BlazBlue, Guilty Gear,
Yep.
Persona. No, I think Persona was on Xbox as well, actually.
Yeah, did come out on the
the
Xbox.
first one,
Yes.
not the sequel.
No, the sequel did come out as well.
Did it?
Yes.
Called Guy upstairs,
think.
but
I think.
I
I'm misremembering this.
but either way, yeah.
Either way,
a
a lot
lot
of-
of the 2D air dashers.
all the big name anime fighters did cross over, but all the small ones, the
Arcana Heart.
Arcana Heart, Love Live, not Love Live.
I wish Love Live, but maybe one day.
Arcana Heart, Love
Max.
Love Max. That's
Love
what I was
Max
thinking.
3.
Love Max.
Yep.
Aqua Plaza, or Water Pizza,
Yeah. Aquapaza, Nitro Plus.
Nitro Plus, all those before the PC Steam allowed it to happen. All the anime fighters were there.
on the PlayStation.
Anything that was on the PS2 migrated to PS3.
Yep. And I guess wait, did KOF 13 come on Xbox?
Yes.
Okay, so it had basically all the SNK and the Capcom fighters.
All the big name stuff did cross mingle.
Tekken 6 on Xbox?
Yes.
Okay, yeah. So even Tekken 6 had Soul Calibur 6 as well, I believe.
Okay. So
Or 5. 6 is coming out.
hit that Inception buzzer because we're reeling back.
Okay, yep. Back to E3.
Back to
discovered
E3.
A whole bunch of stuff.
That was where I first saw Jersey Jack starting up.
The pinball machine.
Pinball machine.
This is like the company?
The company.
Okay.
And they brought their first prototype machine, which was Wizard of Oz.
Okay. Was it impressive?
It was impressive, yes, because it had LCD back panel that actually animates because it's an actual
Oh,
screen.
really? Okay. And it interacts with whatever you're doing in the actual cabinet.
Yeah, I didn't really like the Wizard of Oz machine because it's too busy.
Oh, was it? Okay.
Like the playfield is too had too much stuff in it, so you didn't have enough room to aim and shoot stuff. I mean, it's a delicate balance to create a fun playfield.
Yeah, for sure. While also having cool gimmicks.
Yeah, because if you have too many gimmicks, you have no room to do anything.
Yeah.
You have too few, then you feel bored.
Exactly. So you gotta strike that balance. And
Yeah,
that's
so-
something I never really even considered about pinball machines. Was just like you have to make all those little things inside the machine like by hand, like one by one, like
Well, yeah,
you know, carefully, right?
yeah. There is a manufacturer on YouTube. There is a manufacturer's tour of Stern, of what Stern is now today, and they actually explain their history and what they do and how they manufacture things.
Really?
Their entire process.
Oh,
It's a full tour. Which is kind of one of the more amazing things I've got to watch.
at E3.
Not E3, just modern stuff you get to see on YouTube.
Oh, YouTube. I'll probably forget to put that in the description, but I'll see what I can do.
Just look up Stern pinball tour or something like that.
Right.
But yeah, what I didn't know is that Stern is the latest incarnation of all the legacy pinball manufacturers of the past.
Oh, okay.
So all of them,
Those
all
guys.
all the companies who used to make pinball machines left and died.
Uh-huh.
Eventually, all got merged into Stern.
So the remnants of like,
Yeah, the remnants of the past became Stern,
and they're still around today,
and Stern is still around today,
making new pinball machines.
making new pinball machines.
which is weird because I've never seen a pinball machine again, like in front.
No, because Palladium carries them.
Palladium in Toronto.
Yeah, Palladium Toronto, but they also, as I mentioned this before in the last podcast, Palladium has a contract to all the Cineplex movie theaters.
Yeah.
So
Still?
still,
Oh, to this day, wow.
every Cineplex movie theater you go to is a Palladium.
Oh, that's right. I think in Coquitlam or wherever they still have one, don't
Yeah.
they? In Richmond area.
Yeah, even if you go to our Metropolis Cineplex, if you go into the arcade section, it's Palladium.
Oh, you're right. I forgot that's still even there.
I think they have a X-Men pinball machine up there.
So there is a pinball machine.
Oh, my car alarm is on.
Okay, let's take a quick break to solve this. Okay, sorry about that. Just gonna keep going on from where we were talking about. Okay, yeah, pinball machine in actual like Metropolis or Cineplex in Metrotown. There is a small Palladium section,
Yep.
and there is a pinball machine there.
Yes.
There is a pinball machine there.
Yes.
Okay,
It is an X-Men pinball machine.
like X-Men, like the '90s cartoon X-Men.
No, X-Men as in the modern movie.
Really,
I think it's an X-Men 3.
the one with Michael Fassbender.
I don't know.
Oh, X-Men 3,
Yeah.
the one with
It's not quite new. It's kind of old.
well, today's standard, like
Yeah.
X-Men 3. It's been a while.
Yeah.
But okay, so there's still a thing. There's still a pinball machine there.
Yeah, there's still a pinball well, at least last time I checked anyways.
That's crazy. You know, if you're a fan of pinball, there's a machine there. But you said there was the well-maintained ones at Movieland?
At Movieland, last time I went there, all their machines are well maintained. They have even the old classic pinball machines are kept up. They're cleaned, and they have fresh rubber bands so that they all
really?
bounce really well.
Oh, okay. So yeah,
There's a lot of love in those machines.
I imagine that's like really hard to take care of because you got to do it like one by one and go through the entire machine carefully too.
Yeah,
right?
and it's a giant sheet of heavy glass that's covering the top of it.
Yes.
So you have to be super careful about pulling those things apart.
Yeah, that's all.
I mean, if you're not careful, that thing can take your head off.
Oh, really? Is it like okay?
It's a lot of weight coming down an incline. If you're not there to catch it, watch out.
And I don't know how you like. I imagine that'd be like one of the easier things to replace on a pinball machine.
Giant sheets of glass, maybe?
I don't know. You could probably
Find some somewhere, but like, I imagine nowadays it's more like heavy acrylic, but classic machines are glass.
Yeah. Okay. It's kind of want to not really wrap it up, but like kind of we had to. I want to bring it back to today. Like, so we had all these arcades. They were fun places. They were awesome. They're cool. Part of the culture back then. Why did they die? Or why do we not have as many as we did before?
It's kind of a weird thing because like we still have a lot compared to most other locations.
Relatively speaking, in Vancouver, we do have some still.
But for everyone else in the world, the decline is mostly because of the home market and mobile phones and basically video games that can be found everywhere else.
They weren't restricted to like
Yeah.
being in an arcade.
Yeah. So the main reason you would go to an arcade is for two reasons nowadays. One, it's just a place to hang out.
Right.
Or two, you play on specific machines that you cannot play in any other fashion.
Yeah.
So what sells most in arcades nowadays are those giant deluxe cabs, ticket redemptions, or music rhythm games.
Right. Stuff that you can't, not like
Things
easily.
things that require unique operations of the machine.
Right, and also I imagine they're expensive to maintain.
Not really. Most of these modern machines are pretty easy. They're essentially computers in a box of large buttons.
Oh, okay. Well, there we go.
Unless you get one of those giant, complicated physical machines.
Yeah, like that trash can cat ball.
I miss that thing.
Yeah. I mean, so like with the kind of it's kind of like, yeah, like you said, people don't have to travel far to find the quick source of entertainment. Which leads to like the decline in people, in traffic going to arcades.
For most stuff, yes. But CHQ is always bustling.
It is because I mean it's also a place where you can just like leave your kid for a bit.
Don't recommend it.
Don't
do it.
Yeah, we're not saying
An
you should do
arcade operator is not a babysitter.
that. They are not. So please be considerate. But I mean, at the same time, it's like you do have some people in there. There's still games that people play, like DDR and stuff.
Yeah.
But in terms of like, at least in comparison to like Tokyo and Japan, or not even just Tokyo, just in Japan in general, where there are gatherings at arcades
Yeah.
to have tournaments and
Yes.
whatever. Like you can see them online. It's just not as prominent here because we don't get those arcade cabinets
Because most of them is made over there and it's cheaper to ship stuff over there.
Exactly. So like, I imagine like anyone who would for whatever reason invest in like some kind of arcade game to bring it over here would be quite a fortune.
Yeah, which is why most of the people who collect arcade cabs here are just harvesting old machines.
Exactly. So I don't want to like, this is a bit far, but like recently there's been a lot of games that are just developed for the home console, like in terms of arcade fighters. We have like Marvel versus Capcom 3 and Infinite. Did not have an arcade version.
Nope.
Dragon Ball, fresh game, developed for home.
Dragon Ball Fighters specifically.
Fighters.
There wasn't Dragon Ball arcade game.
When I was in Tokyo, actually, there was actually this one really awesome, cool Dragon Ball arcade game. It was like in third person, and I don't know what it was, but it looked awesome.
That one specifically used to also was at eSpot.
Oh, was it?
For a very short time,
Oh, no.
eSpot had that game.
Oh man. See, I missed the chances of playing it here and there. But anyways, yeah, a lot of games like so Street Fighter 5 made at home.
Yeah, but now they have an arcade version.
Oh, they do.
They're making an arcade version now.
I mean, they said that like 2 years ago, but
Yeah.
a year ago, but
Which is essentially is the PC version.
oh, well, I mean, because like you said, like arcade machines are just basically just PCs, right?
The traditional like cabinet sit down that you play on a stick games that you think of as an arcade machine are now in Japan anyways operated in a network as a PC. It's an easier way for arcade operators to download and distribute arcade machines.
Yeah, like
And-
the Nesica network, right?
Yeah, the Nesca network as one example, and operators are charged by the number of plays on that machine. So like one machine can play multiple games rather than just being standalone of one setup.
And taking up a bunch of space,
Yeah.
right? Yeah, that makes a lot of sense because like they have that because like I imagine in Japan space is a thing. Like you gotta maximize it, right?
Yeah, that's why Neo Geo was such a unique thing to have around because
Did they have that function? How you can play multiple games on one
yeah,
cabinet?
Neo Geo had multiple slots in one machine, so you can just
Oh,
you can have a single, 2, 4, or even 6 slots.
oh, okay. So like, and I guess one game per slot or something.
Yeah, one game per slot, and so you can have like a variety of games in one machine.
Oh, okay. So in terms of like arcade games, like it's kind of sad to see like we just don't get new ones. Like,
Not the new ones that we know of that's
yeah.
out in Japan now,
yeah.
but here in Vancouver, not so much. In today's time, there is a Round 1 arcade outside of Seattle.
Yeah, I heard about Round 1. They import machines, don't they?
Round 1 is owned by Taito in Japan.
Oh, really?
I think it's Taito. I could be
Taito Station, yeah.
Yeah, but because they're owned by an actual Japanese arcade publisher,
Uh-huh.
they have the money